Namaskar, this is Akhilesh Bhargava. Welcome to Tit-Bits on Business and Finance with me. With India's new income tax portal being glitch-infested and non-functional now for many months, its developer, Infosys, continues to face the flak for a clearly botched-up job. The government has summoned its CEO twice for a reprimand, and its COO has now been personally handling the project with top priority, as Infosys says. Since Infosys has clearly chosen to be tight-lipped about this matter and thus refuses to tell its part of the story to the nation, the software giant has been singularly blamed for the huge mess in the IT portal that it prepared. A non-functioning income tax portal for many months is indeed a national shame. And the unanswered question is, when something like this was happening, when the portal was not ready, then why was the old portal, which was functioning relatively well, not restored when the old one was faulty, when it was undergoing repairs, and one needed to ensure that the income tax portal and website is functioning? Further, why has the entire tax administration machinery been allowed to be at a standstill, causing immense hardship to the taxpayer, to the taxman, and enormous loss to the exchequer, just because the new portal built by Infosys has turned out to be defective? The old one should have been therefore restored. If we keep aside the fact that the chaos in the income tax portal happens to be a huge national problem, if we keep this perspective aside, then the failure of Infosys to deliver as promised is a mere contractual failure, which is so common in any government contract. The fact is that the government awarded the contract to Infosys under its tendering process sometime in January 2019. As per the terms of contract, the new portal was to be ready. It was to be functional by September 2020, a deadline which Infosys could not unfortunately meet. Even thereafter, when the portal was finally commissioned on 7th of June 2021, it turned out to be full of glitches and was therefore non-functional from day one. Infosys therefore failed as a vendor under the contract, and the options before the government as the options available under any such contract for supply of goods and services where the vendor had failed to deliver what was promised would be to either cancel the contract with Infosys or sue it for damages, or forfeit the vendor deposit and invoke the bank guarantee, or blacklist Infosys as a vendor for future jobs, or scrap the new portal, restore the old one, and give additional time and opportunity to Infosys to rectify the new portal before it is put to use again after due testing and performance. But since the new income tax portal involves a matter of serious public interest with high public scrutiny and visibility, therefore compelling the finance minister to look into the matter herself, this entire affair has been in high-profile media limelight and fancy, and Infosys has been silently taking the bullet and the blame for the entire mess which is there in the new income tax portal. Infosys has been widely criticized for this muddle-up project, such that Panchajanya, the RSS-affiliated magazine, in its September cover story with Sri Narayan Murthy on the cover page, calls Infosys as anti-national for its failure to fix glitches in the income tax portal. Panchajanya also accuses Infosys of glitches in the GSTN portal and says that there have been several other accusations against Infosys, which curiously includes financing what it calls left-winger anti-national media portals, which is where perhaps its ire lies, and it would have provoked this kind of an article, a cover story against Infosys. Panchajanya further shockingly claimed that there are allegations that the management of Infosys is deliberately trying to destabilize the Indian economy, which is a very serious charge. And can just one company, by its failure to deliver under a contract, destabilize an entire Indian economy? Interestingly and very surprisingly, a senior RSS person is reported to have said that there is nothing wrong in the way in which companies, which is Infosys, have been criticized. He says that they must be thick-skinned and they must be held accountable. He asks, why should questions not be raised, and how have corporations become a holy cow such that, according to him, these kind of criticisms do not take place? The fact is that the atrocious Panchajanya cover story did not raise questions, but it actually levied the most serious and baseless allegations on Infosys. You can certainly blame Infosys for a botched up job and seek contractual remedies under the law, but it does not deserve giving Infosys an anti-national tag and even saying that it is destabilizing the Indian economy deliberately. The expected furor over the article prompted a senior RSS functionary in its publicity wing to distance itself from the article and say that Infosys has made a seminal contribution to the nation. A former CFO of Infosys and a BJP admirer, Sri Mohandas Pai, rightly remarked that Infosys deserves to be criticized for not working up to user expectations, but to call them anti-national and even ascribe conspiracy theories to them is the working of demented, crazy minds, according to him. You cannot accuse companies working with the government like this, says Sri Mohandas Pai. Speaking about this cover story and perhaps taking up matters at the government level, the finance minister told the news channel CNN TV 18 that the article was not right at all. She said that I think that they, which is Panchajanya, have already made a statement distancing themselves from whoever wrote it. Commenting on the anti-national statement, she said that while users have been affected by the glitches, the government and Infosys have been working together to set all the matters right. Infosys, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and tax experts have been working together, and the government has a lot of expectations over the new portal, which has many glitches, which she pointed out. She further assured by saying that we are working together and we are confident that it will finally work out. That is what came from the finance minister's side as a clarification on the entire matter, of course making it clear that this kind of an article was not correct. The final slammer on the matter, the final response to us, comes from Sri Raghuram Rajan, the former governor of Reserve Bank of India, who questioned that would the central government be dubbed as anti-national for its alleged poor performance initially on the vaccination front. That does not make it anti-national, he rightly says. Further, citing the creaky rollout of the GST network, he said that people do make mistakes. He said that the GST rollout has not been spectacular and that it could have been much better. But then we must learn from those mistakes and not use them as a club to roll out our own prejudices, he pointed out. These kind of anti-national allegations and alleging that Infosys is deliberately trying to destabilize the Indian economy are similar to the frivolous prosecution of journalists on grave charges of sedition merely because they differ and they have been critical of the performance and policies of the Modi government. It merely confirms an atmosphere where it is a crime to differ with the government or be critical of it. It was in 2019 that the veteran industrialist Shri Rahul Bajaj had said that businessmen are afraid of speaking against the government, implying an atmosphere of fear in the country, which the government very quickly denied, but yet said that it would look into the charge. Things have certainly not improved since then, and the fear of a vindictive government remains, a fear of a backlash remains. Such a fear of a government backlash against its critics is clearly anti-democracy and anti-growth. And because it unnerves the industry which has a lot at stake, few want to be caught on the wrong side of the Modi government today. And this fear further gets understood and accentuated by the domineering manner in which senior ministers like Shri Piyush Goyal regularly take swipes at the industry in case the industry or the industrialist or the company takes a stand different from that of the government, as is evident from his severe criticism of the Tata Group at a recent CI event last month. He criticized the Tata Group merely because it opposed the stringent e-commerce rules proposed by the government that were put up for public comment, and therefore the Tata Group put its objections to it. Incidentally, it was not just the Tata Group that objected to the proposed e-com rules, and even the likes of Amazon and Flipkart did that. But Shri Piyush Goyal singularly singled out the Tata Group and made some disparaging remarks. Strangely, Mr. Goyal also challenged the Tatas to take on multinationals and demonstrate whether they can sell their steel products to companies in Japan and South Korea, which was clearly unwanted. Even earlier, he had made disparaging remarks about the Amazon investment in India, saying that it is no merbani on the country in case Amazon decides to invest $1 billion in India, which was announced at the time of Jeff Bezos' visit to India. Much as the FM now says that there is trust between the government and the industry, these incidents do prove otherwise. No one in the industry wants to be on the wrong side of the government today and face harassment. If giants like Infosys and Tatas are not spared by the government or its fringe elements, then who will have the guts to differ with the government? That to us explains why the Tatas and Infosys have maintained a studied strategic silence and have not responded to these comments. And it also explains why no industry body has had the guts to come out in their support. The government certainly hates criticism and differences, whether in the parliament or with the public. And it thus prefers to enact laws and policies without any discussion, without any debate, and without any demur. And when somebody objects or somebody has an opposition to it, the words used are harsh, and so is the action taken against them sometimes. This is Akhilesh Bhargava signing off till we meet again. Namaskar.